What's up, guys? It's your boy Tyson, back at it again with another crypto video, two in the same month. Am I seeing double vision? Yeah. You guys are eating good, especially after this
Yeah,
channel rebrand, dude. Holy shit.
I'm impressed. I know. I'm thanking you. Everyone should be thanking you for this wealth of knowledge. And also, I think you've kind of been on a roll since the last video, at least with the personal calls you've made to me. Hopefully, you've shared that with everyone
Oh
else.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah. Um, and more importantly, Moyer is joining me today, and
yeah,
more importantly as well, Moyer is back in the game. Welcome back, Moyer, after a long absence.
I am. And, I'm sure we could talk about the thought patterns behind this, but when you're not involved in the market and it's going up, it's gutting. But also when you're in the market in general, you start to miss life when you weren't in it. It's actually a lot more peaceful.
Yeah.
So let's just say to people, maybe if you are sidelined, don't feel terrible because it is a nightmare being in this and having to sift through it because you really do have to get your homework. But I'm having fun. I love waking up and seeing what's going on and in the market and just kind of keeping pace and jumping back in with my money was the way to do that. So we're having a
I'm
good
gonna
time.
take the inverse opinion. If you're sidelined at this point in time, what are you doing, dude? Like, you just missed like.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying for their peace of mind, for their peace of mind, just know that
No,
there
no,
are
no.
better things to
If you're
life than being in the
sidelined at this
crypto
point in time,
market.
you should be in mental anguish, dude.
See, that's
You're
I,
and to anyone who's not in the game, you're so late that even more is back in, dude. So
I, I do not condone your outlook, but I can definitely understand why you feel that way. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'm having fun.
but yeah, last time I made the video, the most recent one, I said I'd make another one if some cool shit happened, and lo and behold, some cool shit has happened. But I guess I'll start first out by saying I want to revise my thesis a little bit. I ended my thoughts last video by saying my outlook for the general market for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Um, and I said last time I think we were going to pump uh, up until the ETF announcement, which would be 4 or 5 days from now, and then we would dump until the end of Q1 2024. And that was a good thesis. It was well grounded and all that, but unfortunately, it seems that someone has leaked the game plan to the the proles, the subhumans on Twitter. So the room temperature IQ people on Twitter are now unfortunately trying to say, dude, what if we like sell the news on this ETF event? So unfortunately, the game plan's changed a bit because they're in on it.
Yeah, and
The
I,
the
go
the
ahead.
the the real nail in the coffin was when I was searching up the link hashtag and I saw some diehard link maxis saying, "Yeah, dude, I'm just gonna sell the news on this link on this Bitcoin ETF event." So that's a red flag for anyone.
Never take the word of someone who bought Link after 2021 seriously. Let's just say, and I think a lot of them have. But the ETF is kind of touching on something that we'll get into in a moment, but it kind of is a more traditional perspective on crypto and its final supposed eternally sought after merging with regular everyday finance. And this is something that was talked about years ago. I mean, in crypto terms, years ago. I mean, 3 to 4 to 5 to no. I mean, 6 or 7 years ago, they were talking about an ETF for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's been an incredibly long road. And it's less about how the assets will function and more about the affirmation of cryptocurrency as a mainstay in the
Yep.
market. Because I remember when I first got into this, there wasn't a ticker for Bitcoin on Fox Business. Now it's something that's discussed as a segment almost daily. That's a huge change in sentiment. And I think what's going to happen in this upcoming cycle is going to define that. But I'll get into that later.
Moy brought up a real good point about the ETF and what it means for the future of the market. But I'm going to go a little bit into my revised outlook for a little bit first. I now think, after conferring with a few smart people, that the most
The
likely
voices
outcome,
in your head.
counter trading whatever CNBC says, pretty much.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I think the more likely outcome now is that we grind upwards after the ETF is announced. Uh, Maybe hit like, let me see, um, maybe hit 48, 47K to 52K. Bitcoin's going to grind up towards there and then start crabbing. Um, and then ETH is going to take the fuck off after that. Um,
Mm.
and then once Bitcoin is in that 48K and it starts crabbing and the ETH is popping the fuck off, that is when the normies that I spoke about uh, a few minutes ago, who want to sell the news, that's when they're sufficiently uh, baited by the market to go all in long, to max everything. They think it's going to go up forever, and then that's when the market's going to dump. So I think we're gonna maybe grind upwards for Bitcoin into February, and then ETH is going to start popping off after that. Um, so maybe end of Q1 we start seeing a major correction. And if that's true, that means we should expect to see the correction take maybe 1 quarter to 2 quarters, and then we should have a really nice rally, the real bull cycle crazy rally at the end of 2024, going into the first quarter of 2025. And I spoke with another person about this, but this time, this cycle, I am not going to use any price targets for my exit strategy. Of course, I'm going to exit my thing if it hits my sell targets and it's looking like it's fucking vertical. But I really cannot afford to base it on price targets anymore. What I'm going to do this cycle is when it hits uh, Q4 2024, I'm going to start selling everything, and I don't care what price it is. I'm pretty
Hmm.
confident that the cycle is going to finish early 2025. So when it hits 2024, early 2025, I'm going to be by 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 my birthday, January 10th, 2025.
Mark your
I'm
calendars.
I'm going to make sure I'm fully out of the market, no matter what, no matter what price everything is.
That would be a wonderful birthday present for yourself. And I think this is a helpful moment. And this podcast is slowly veering into this time it will be different, I swear, our
Yeah,
memoirs. But
yeah.
something I learned in the last cycle that I always felt in the back of my head, but didn't place enough value on, you get so lost in this DeFi maze and whatever low cap maze you're getting stuck in, or we'll say mid cap. It's really easy to lose sight of Bitcoin's overall price movement. It's not that you stop caring about it, you don't pay attention to it as much, but if Bitcoin isn't healthy, I don't care what you're holding or how safe you deem it to be from the overall market. It will be affected. And I know this sounds really basic, but all I'm saying is no matter how much attention you're paying to the finer points of the market, you should just be watching Bitcoin's chart as closely as possible, more closely than anything else you're holding, because the warning signs were really obvious, I would say, from Bitcoin and not exactly the lower markets last time of when it was time to get out. There really were a lot of warning signs there that I didn't take heed of, at least when I was in that cycle in the previous years. So I think Tyson's making a point about just wider Bitcoin movement and how it's going to inform all of his other positions. And yeah, it's elementary, but it's easy to forget that in the moment when you're feeling euphoric, as everyone would say.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so another cool thing I want to show you guys, if you guys can see the screen, is my thesis for why ETH is going to pop the fuck off soon. So, if you guys can see this, um, check this out. Weekly looks like shit. But hold on. Look at that. Look at how fucking bottomed out ETH looks like on the monthly Stoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
This is
incredible.
this is a bottom if I ever saw one for ETH Bitcoin. So it has to pump from here. Otherwise, ETH is dead. Um, but I
We
want to go
hardly knew
into
ye.
I want to go into a little bit the mindset that you should be approaching this cycle, and the mindset that I'm going to approach the cycle with. Um, I genuinely think that this is the last cycle for crypto for a long, long ass fucking time. Okay, this is it. This is the last chance you have to make stupid money, stupid crazy money, doing jack shit, jerking off to hentai, and doing nothing. This is the last chance. Okay, last call. So if you don't make it now, uh, I'm sorry, but you got to find some other avenues because after this cycle is done, it's bit the entire market's gonna chill for a very very long fucking time. Um, and I think you know I might have mentioned this last year, but the in history you have these flashes in the pan of exuberance, and you really need to understand that these flashes are finite in time and they will end eventually. So, and the example I love to bring up is the fact that in the 1800s, as England was colonizing India, you could like start up a fucking shipping company, say that you were gonna do business in India, and then your market cap would be like you would just like overnight your company would be worth millions, even though you haven't done anything. Like that
Scamming
was
involving India?
that was but that was like the bull run of the day, and that lasted like only a few decades. So you know this isn't going to go on forever. And what I will say is that the fact that this ETF has been announced, it does mean that in 10 years time, 20 years time, I do think Bitcoin will still be around, but
Mm.
you need to like look at the log chart for Bitcoin. Let me pull it up.
God, the log. It's all coming back to me now. Oh my god, I
Dude,
forgot about this.
this chart, it looks so fucking topped out. Okay, like let's say like
Amazing.
yeah, where do you think like it's not gonna fucking shoot up again like here? There's only like a
Mm-mm.
certain range of motion that this market can go at this point in
And
time.
it's like, as we've talked about on this show before, I mean, Bitcoin's acquired so much volume over the years. You're not going to have these erratic price fluctuations upwards.
Yep, yep.
It's becoming more normalized.
But I do want to shine some hope on the market. Um, if you're looking from like a really long term perspective, so if you think like 10, 20 years in the future, the fact that this ETF has been announced, it does mean that TradFi is getting into crypto. It does mean that TradFi is getting into Bitcoin at the very least, and that means something. It means that people will start to put their 401ks into Bitcoin. It means that it is being accepted by the general investing public, and you know when you have 401k money and trad money flowing into an asset that is programmed to be scarce and to be scarcer over time, that's a pretty bullish outlook if you're looking beyond a 10-year time span horizon.
Yes. So before you jump into more specific alts, I just wanted to say, and it's kind of in tandem what's going on with Bitcoin, and it has to do with this supposed final cycle, which I think is a really brave call by you that makes a lot of sense for me. Um, it has to do with thematics and episodes in crypto. So if you think of it as a trilogy, I remember when I
Mm.
first got into crypto, what I got was Ripple. And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was when people first started talking about using cryptocurrency as payment settling. So this was around 2017, 2018. And people forget there was a phenomenal Bitcoin cycle there. I think it was when Bitcoin went to around 20,000. It was getting close to 20,000. I was feeling euphoric in my Ripple pick. But the conversation at that time was, and this is why Ripple was so much, it was so widely discussed then, was because look at how fast you can settle this payment. Oh my goodness, it's quicker than traditional finance. This is going to take over the world. That was kind of the conversation around that small cycle. Now, what happened the next cycle in 2020 to 2021? That was all about DeFi. So it took the concept of payment settling and turned it on its head and created these incredible algorithmic platforms that seemed like money printers that were kind of built on, let's just say, advanced Ponzi-nomics that really, really set the market into the stratosphere. But it was kind of a, not a niche interest, but you had to go digging for it to find out what it was used for. And obviously, Ethereum kind of helped push on to that run with these alternative platforms that created somewhere. You had things like Solana and Phantom and all these L2s, L1s that were just sprouting out of the ground. You had things like Curve, right? So
Yep.
that defined that second run. What we're going into now, 2023, so 2017 to 2020, 2021, now we're going to 2024, so every 3 years. This is like a trilogy. This is the finale of the trilogy. And what happens in the ending parts of a trilogy, they go back to the beginning, right? They go back to their roots. They re-explore what got them there in the first place. So I think this run is going to have a lot less to do with finding zombie Inu on the Phantom chain and more about solidifying cryptocurrency as a fundamental long-term investment. And I think a lot of people who were burned in that previous term by those advanced L2 platforms are going to kind of be moving back towards the top and finding more structure, more typical use, kind of looking for something to usher in this not only ETF but just more traditional acceptance of Bitcoin. So it's going to be less about the Wild West and more about finding defined positions and holding them. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because it's going to be a much different type of market than the last run. I don't think it's going to be the same type of smash and grabs of these, let's say things like Tomb, like I was on in the last run. I think it's going to be less of that.
I do think this cycle, like the last cycle, will have a meme coin season. Meme coins will always have their day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I think meme coins will have their day, especially when I don't even think Doge is a meme coin at this point. So let's just say Bonk or Inu or whatever's been spoken on. Those will still have a purpose, but I think the narrative is going to be a lot different from the last cycle, and it's going to be more about standardizing and parking your money instead of trading your money. And I think that kind of lends with what you were talking about with 401k assets and kind of consolidating investments, and that's what's going to show crypto has staying power. So that's what I think this third run up will be about. And it's going to be interesting to see, because when you said this in early episodes that 25 is the end of crypto, maybe a little dramatic in some ways, but I like it. It's really interesting to think about it that way. It is.
And you know what? I want to say this as well. I really don't care about crypto. I'm only in this market because it's a good way to make money. I don't give a shit about decentralized Oracle networks or fucking like peer-to-peer fast. I care about the money, okay? I don't give a shit about anything. So if you do care, maybe like start to see like, okay, well, I mean, guys, let's be honest, right? Let's look at a coin like fucking I don't know. Let's look at a coin like Atom, right? Or Matic. Does anyone believe that this piece of shit is actually worth like fucking $4 to $6 billion? No, it's not. It's a fucking scam. Okay, it's not worth anywhere near that, and it's a flash in the pan. So you need to take advantage of that. Okay, I don't fucking care about any promises that Matic has made or what Link has made because it's not real. It's ethereal. Okay, And
Ethereal. That's good.
and I feel like it's a big mistake to think that my institutions, my world changing shit. Like, okay, maybe some of the tech is in this market. It's going to change the world in some form or another in like 2 decades from now. But are you going to profit from like buying something like Matic and holding for 2 decades? No, you're not. Okay, so
And you know what? If you want to make that passioned argument, you already have it in Bitcoin. You don't need to look any further than
exactly.
that. You don't need to become an acolyte of these platforms or these alternative currencies. The use case for Bitcoin and why it's so important, that's interesting enough in itself and revolutionary enough in itself. So just focus on that. We don't need to pretend Matic is gonna change, is gonna change the landscape in the next 5 or 6 years. Yeah, no, that is funny. So that it's funny that you do need to say that though, because it seems like some people are a bit more attached to narratives than making money, and that's only gotten worse over
Oh yeah,
time.
we'll be dunking on some of those people later on.
But also think about it though. Do you think everyone who's trading the stock market or in the traditional finance industry has a passion for their stocks that they're trading or recommending to others at board meetings?
Yeah,
No,
dude,
right?
I really care about Lockheed Martin. I just love like what they're
I
doing.
know.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
dude, come
They're
on.
changing the industrial war complex for the better.
But all the sad stuff is out of the way. You already
Mm,
know what you have to do. I know what I have to do. Maury knows what he has to do.
yeah.
Last cycle, take advantage of it. Don't fuck it up. Uh, and yeah, when it hits end of year and going to Q1, sell it. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what your Uber driver says. Sell it. 2020, 2025. Okay.
All that stuff's coming back to me now. That is the best with the Uber driver, the Uber
Dude,
driver
the
paradox.
the worst thing is when I like last cycle, I think like 2022 or something, like near the top. I was getting a haircut and I saw my fucking barber check his blockfolio halfway through a haircut, and I'm like, oh
That's
no,
what you should
it's
know.
so bad.
I do love when people talk about when you talk to someone who, I don't even want to use the term normie. Let's just say people who aren't traditionally into cryptocurrency, you wouldn't expect it, and they say things like, what's the one that Dave Portnoy at Barstool endorsed, like Moonshot or Safe Moon or
Safe Moon,
something?
yeah, some dumb
Yeah,
shit like that.
people just know about their random one, and they'll just say like, "Yeah, well, Safe Moon," and you just laugh too. You always entertain it, by the way. I always say like, "Yeah, Safe Moon, it's a good one." I love it. It's great.
Another thing is man, this is such a fucking top signal, but like last cycle as well. I have a friend who has never showed any interest in crypto, and then out of nowhere, I just texted him one day like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Like, what you been up to these days?" And this is during the metaverse craze. So like, you had all these like metaverse coins popping off, and he's like, "Yeah man, just been like really researching coins like Decentraland and Mana, just been doing all that stuff." And I'm like, "There's there's something wrong about this picture, but I couldn't quite put my finger in it at the time."
And it's funny that you point that out because that's another fad of the past. Remember, the metaverse was a huge talking point towards the end of the last cycle. That's done. We're not going to be talking about that in this cycle. Are we going
I
to be?
don't know.
You don't
I
think
got some.
so?
No, I think it's gonna come back
Oh
in some
God,
form or
I don't
another.
want it to. I think AI, if you can restructure metaverse token verbiage and just change it to AI, those people will probably be well off. I think that's going to be a big theme this
Yeah,
cycle
yeah.
too. Deep brain chain is going to it's going to come back. So,
Right next to Funfair and Dragon Chain, right?
yeah, well, the fun fair thing that bothers me. That should have done a lot better, but that's okay. I'm willing to let that one go.
Also, note that Funfair actually outperformed the Link at one point in time last cycle. So there's that.
Oh, no comment just
All right,
yet.
but let's get into some specific coins here, guys. First one on my list that I talked about last time is this quite possibly the fucking chattest coin I've ever seen in my fucking life, which has to be INJ.
Oof.
So when I was talking to you guys last time, Injective was around here, $20, $20 to $21, and since then it's literally done a 2x, and it still looks fucking phenomenal. Yeah, this chart is unreal. Look at this shit. It's just gone vertical, and I really think that the resilience that it showed in the previous few months is going to carry on when the cycle pops off again. I don't think 100 to 150 is out of the question. I'm definitely going to be targeting 150 to $100 range for sure. And I can even see this pull off something insane, like maybe even going to 300. Honestly,
You are the chart master, and I defer any technical analysis to you. But this thing's got to cool off, right?
it
Or
does.
do
It
you think
does.
it
Yeah,
already has?
it does need to cool off. Probably sometime soon, but I don't really care. I got in at $3, so I'm good to hold. So
Oh,
yeah.
man, what a legend.
But yeah. So if you guys see it, let's see. If it gets down to 25 to 20, that would probably be a good buy for you guys. So if the market starts correcting and it gets down there, pull the trigger on this one. This one's a good fucking coin. It's
Good
Chad coin.
stuff.
Next up is something that I think Moyer has some experience with that I talked about last time, but it's called Lido. Huh? Sound familiar?
Yeah, you got my attention with this one because, and you can name the account if you want, but Tyson's created a great trading account. And what inspired me to get back into the market was he posted the chart of this. And he gave me a short explanation when we were losing a game of League of Legends at some point last week or 2 weeks ago. And it has one of the most resilient to the market charts I've ever seen. And it looked like it was about to triple top out over the long term. You can see those three peaks, and then finally it broke through over the last few days there. The thing just looked so poised to crank that I couldn't not do something about it. And it played out the exact way that Tyson showed me. So I'm really impressed with this because what my goal was when I got back into the market, and this is kind of the theme of what I was talking about, where we're gonna return to more traditional aspects of market options here, is that I'm like, you know what? Next time I get back in the market, I'm just going to relax and I don't know, buy ETH like a boomer or Solana and just relax, you know? But when I saw Lido and kind of what it did and what the chart looked like, everything kind of aligned for me, you know, a more everyman staking platform for ETH. That's
It
perfect.
just makes
So
sense, right?
yeah, so I was banking on I'm banking on great ETH performance for this cycle, and what better way to leverage that than an ETH related DAO in Lido? So I'm glad I'm all in on this. I think it's great, but I think 70% of the reason why I got it was because I loved the chart and I love the way Tyson explained
Dude,
the
it's
chart,
such a good
and it's
chart.
been
The
working out.
entire fucking chart is just accumulation. How fucking sick is that, right?
What more can you ask for, right? And
I know,
I
yeah.
never thought about it that way either. But yeah, I was thinking more of the it was a triangle of some sort, right? Like a ascending wedge, maybe would be the term. I don't know. The whole thing is like a giant accumulation triangle. And that's, I mean, you just showed INJ, right? This kind of reminds me of what happened with that already is about to happen with this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about this in the near term at
You're
six
not wrong.
dollars. Yeah.
Uh
I,
this period in specific for INJ. This part of INJ here looks like Lido right here. The entire chart
the
Lido.
entire life cycle of Lido. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's super. So when the conversation comes up about ETF and rigidity and mainstay of Ethereum, this is going to be something that's discussed. So I think it's important. Did you see some loser try to sue them because he lost his money?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why.
Dude,
So hold on. I hate to be nitpicky about this, but go to the one day I think it is and zoom in on like the most recent. Oh, you are on the one day. So yeah, just zoom in here. You see that sell off down to 240. That was the exact moment where they got sued. And then I think everyone read the article and was like, oh, it's literally some fucking loser in San Francisco who's mad he lost money, so he's accusing them of not registering properly as a security. So I should be able to say that guy's name publicly. I would
Also,
if I had the article in front
also,
of me.
hold on. How the fuck do you lose money on this? It's an all-time high. What the fuck is
I
wrong
thought
with this
the
dude?
same thing too. I was thinking the same thing. And I was like, brother, even if he got in at the worst possible point, what, you lost 50% of your investment? Get in line, dude. I've lost everything 3 times over in half the markets I've dealt with. Like,
Let's say he
get
bought
over it,
the
bro.
Pico top here. He'd be down 6%. Dude, come on.
Better sue. Better sue. Yeah, you just know which way that I can't say that actually in this climate, but you just know what that guy's probably aligned with.
Yeah.
So,
But
but I'll
some cool narratives I want to bring light to for LIDO is not only the ETH Bitcoin thing. So I mentioned how good ETH BTC looks. Let me just change it to lay special settings.
look at this. Yeah, the magician at work in his lab.
All right, so this means that ETH is going to pop the fuck off versus Bitcoin. Lido, it is ETH staking, and it's a lower market cap than ETH, and it's part of the ETH ecosystem. So when ETH pops off, this is going to pop off harder than ETH. So, you know, if and also something that I really want to bring to light to is the fact that it is very possible that sometime within this cycle we have an ETH ETF announcement. Not a confirmation, but an ETF announcement. And I feel like that could be the blow off top for Ethereum. That could be like what sends it to, you know, past its previous all time high, and maybe even to 10K. Who knows? But if that happens, this is gonna fucking explode. And I feel like this can. I don't feel like I feel like $25 is a reasonable target for this one. This coin.
That'd be amazing.
I know.
I'd be all about that.
But yeah, that is Lido. Next up we have oh, and last time I called Lido, it was like at 220, so it pumped by 33%. Another coin that I called. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you have a person on air with you right now who listened to your last video and talked to you on the side and invested based off of what you said on the video and what you told me personally, and look what happened. You were correct. So I don't know. I take him seriously just a little bit. Or did you talk about Lido on the last one? Am I confusing it with your Twitter?
I talked in both on Twitter.
Oh, okay, then there you go. Yeah, so listen up, folks. I got in at the entry that Tyson recommended to the public, and it's been working out for me. Let's just say.
Moyer also, like, he sniped a really good fucking entry as well. I think it was like here, and he caught the bottom at like 260. So that's really good shit.
I still got it.
Yep,
folks.
Yep. Another coin that I talked about last time that's done really fucking well was Fetch. So FETCH.AI. This is my thesis. Like, some dumbass fucking boomer or midwit is going to be like, dude, what if we mixed AI with like blockchain, and then they're going to pump this? They just look at the 70 cents for like AI on the blockchain. Holy shit. So this is and it seems like my thesis is working out pretty well, because it pumped up 50%. It was at 50 cents, now it's at 75 ish. And I think it really it's going to go to $5 and beyond, you know.
It's funny when you say that. When you take just ignore market cap for a moment and just take classical psychology into account. Anything priced just under $1, or we'll say within the dollar range, especially in the crypto sphere, is so enticing for so many different subsets of people. It's just, well, it's only $1. That means it could, you know, regardless, and pretend the market cap is like 30 billion. They'd still look at it the same way. You know, that's what makes it so much fun.
That's why Cardano popped off the last cycle.
Really?
Yeah, that shit was like like 20 billion market cap, and then but the price was like 8 cents a coin. So normies were like, "What the fuck? It's 8 cents."
that means it could get to the same price as Ethereum, and then they're in it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got you. That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny.
But yeah, guys, this is my play for AI. I don't think $5 is out of the question for this one. Um, but yeah, it's done. It's done well. It's done 50%. So yeah, I hope you guys got in this. I know one person commented, I might pick up some fetch, and this was like at 49 cents around there. So I hope you did. I hope you did that, Adon, and I hope you're eating good.
Amen.
Another coin that I want to look at before we get to the good shit is Celestia. So I think Celestia is gonna do really well. I talked about this on my Twitter a little bit. Um, but you can see like a sort of accumulation range around here. And if Bitcoin grinds up to 48 to 52K, I can see this popping off to $20 and maybe a little bit higher than that. But yeah, I think overall in the cycle, this should do really, really fucking well. It's a new
That's an
coin.
interesting chart.
Yeah, it's a new coin, and you know what? New coins really do give the best head in the
I was
market.
gonna say which ticker's getting the best head.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Celestia, really good shit. And I'm in from 13-ish around there. So yeah, if it clears 14.8, we're good to go to $20 and beyond for sure.
Nice.
And now it's time. It's my favorite time of the year. It's time to shit on quite possibly the biggest piece of fucking dog shit I've ever seen.
Oh man, you're not holding back on this one. So go. Okay. Oh, I remember
So
this one. Okay.
yeah, so more what? How do you feel about Link these days?
Look, I'll just say this one time, and I won't use this as an opportunity to kind of address some of the obsessives, but this cycle is your chance, like you said, to make money. And it took me a long time to realize this, but I was a long time Link holder. And when I noticed that it wasn't performing in tandem with the market in a way that I would like, or that other coins were doing much better than ChainLink was, I got out and I started making money elsewhere. So there's a chance, a pretty good one, that you will be able to make money with Link in this cycle. The problem is that there are much, much better opportunities right on the other side of the block. It could be just throwing a dart on Coin Market Cap that'll end you that'll prosper better than a Link investment will. Because to me, the project's just become incredibly bloated. And when you talk about returning back to the beginnings of crypto cycles, when you think about a large team, highly commercialized, large market cap project, I think of Ripple in 2018. To me,
That is such
Chainlink
a good
is
point,
the new Chainlink is the new Ripple in this market, and I'm
dude.
being as nice as I
That's a
possibly
really
can.
good fucking point. What is the difference between the XRP army and the Link Marines? Think about it. They're both like frothing at the mouth for late institutions. Both of them have had their roadmaps delayed for years on end. They've seen dog shit price action. What is the difference? Like there's nothing.
Well, it also goes back to what you're saying earlier. You're in this to make money, right? Look, I I should by all means be a Link obsessive because I met Sergey in person. Okay, I met the creator of Chainlink in person, one-on-one in an elevator. Had a short conversation with him and shook his hand, and I loved it. It was fun. It was engaging, but that's done. That grassroots Chainlink that you once knew at that time and the price movements associated with it, that's gone now. That's not coming back. It has been highly commercialized, and it's too large of a company at this point to really foster the innovation that was originally so exciting and kind of teeming in the market then, you know. So it just, I don't think there's outside of the standard other top 20 coins that you think are going to move with the market, Link is right there with them. It's going to be right there with them action wise. So why waste your time with it when you could go in on anything else? Go into LIDO, go into ETH and relax. Trust me, it'll be much better than doing this. This is a warning. It really is, and I'm not using it as a drive-by hit 'em up on the ChainLink sphere or anything like that. I want them to make money. I want them to make money.
I don't at all.
Look, I think there's a better chance anywhere else. It reminds me of when I first got out of Link and went into Tomb. I was like, wait, you can actually make money now and not have to wait for anything. Announcements. The last time Link had great price action off an announcement was when Crypto Godfather said that Google might be using them, like 4 years ago, which was one of the most fun parts in crypto I've ever experienced. But
whatever happened to that? What happened to Google fucking using Link?
I don't know what happened about, but now it's about CCIP. So what's the next carrot on the stick after that?
Dude,
just let it go.
For years, I saw on Link's Twitter. Oh, dude, once staking is out, it's over. It's gonna be it's over for everyone. It's gonna be independent from the entire crypto market. And then staking come out, and then it's dog shit. And they're like, oh, but you gotta wait till CCIP comes out, and then it gets delayed for like 3 years in a row, and then
yeah, but also kind of like what you were saying about the utility, like when you were joking about Matic earlier. The same thing with ChainLink settling transactions. Okay, like what is that really the largest concern right now in the industry? Is that really is that tech just as important as it was 6 or 7 years ago? And even if it is, how's that going to translate to price action? I mean, this is just what it's worth. This is where we're at, and this is the end point. I'm sorry, it was at 50. I remember when Link was at 14 cents. I remember that it was at 14 cents and it went up to what, $57? That's phenomenal. But that's it. You're not going to get another one of those. I'm sorry. That's not how life works.
Actually,
it's not how
if you
life
put
works.
that into perspective, right? Let's say it topped out 53. So 53 divided by 0.1, let's say 5 to round up. Guys, since that 14-cent thing, Link has done a 350x. What more do you fucking want, dude? Like, what more do you, what you want to like hold out for like 1000x? Like, come on, guys. This is not a Disney movie where everything like works out the the way you think it does.
Well, to me, remember when Ethereum was at one point, and I kick myself all the time when I think about this every 2 or 3 months, because I remember hearing it on Glenn Beck Radio, one of the side commentators, Stu Borgier, was like, yeah, now they're into this thing called Ethereum. What is it at? Like $2? Haha. They were just saying that on the Blaze media years ago. And I was like, that's stupid. Huh? Whatever. And then forgot about it. And look where it went to. What is, do you think it's going to go to 100? Do you think Ethereum's going to go to 100,000? Now, do you think that's going to happen too? Because for ChainLink to go to, let's just say 1,000, that's the equivalent of Ethereum trying to do something just as ridiculous. It's topped out. No, I don't want to use the term topped out, but it's become so, the volume and market cap of it has just become so bloated. And bloated is not even the right word. It's just much larger than it was. So it's not going to have those insane price movements. It's just not.
Also,
that's it.
Sergey dumping on Linkies every single week doesn't really help either.
That's the other thing. When I met him years ago, that wasn't part of the narrative. That wasn't something that was happening routinely. It was a different conversation. Things were more exciting. Things were more lively. People weren't embittered and angry about their positions and trying to fight over it constantly. It was just, here's our little world. Here's what we think this coin's capable of. It performed compared to the market in a way I never dreamed of. And that's it. It's over. Yeah. I'm not sure what more you want, right?
I mentioned last video that I was holding a position in Link, and I'm still holding part of that position. But something that made me really angry was when Link was $15, this coin called Celestia, which I talked about just now, launched. It launched at $2. Then it mooned up to $10, and I'm like, Link's at 15 and Celestia's at 10. but Link's chart looks better than Celestia's at the moment. There's no way that Celestia is going to overtake Link, is it? And lo and behold, last night Celestia mooned from it mooned to $15.60, and now Link is at $14.50. So that really pissed me off because I could have just put my entire fucking Link stack into Celestia, which is a project I had known about for a long ass time, but I didn't because I was married to the chart somewhat still, and that I want to give a caveat like in the bull cycle, I do think Link eventually goes back to all time highs. If
Sure.
it goes
Yeah.
to $100, maybe that's like a I'd give that like a 60 to 70% chance, like maybe.
I disagree.
But man, what's the point? You know, when you have like new shit like Celestia popping off, when you have like lower cap plays like FETCH.AI, or even like safer plays like Lido that have a better chart. Like what's the point?
Put it this way. I think this is a funny way to put it. Would you rather make, let's just say Link does everything fundamentally that you ever dreamed that it could do? It's the ultimate Oracle transaction settler, and it all the things that you're adherent to for it, becomes reality, right? Would you rather be vindicated in Link in the long term, but not have the price action to show for it? Or would you rather not be vindicated by Link and make more money in something else? I'd rather make money in something else than be vindicated by Link. So what are you even sticking around? I don't get what you're even sticking around for. So even if you're right about Link just being a great use this entire time, what does that even matter if you could have made more money sitting in, what was that, Celeste or Lido, or who knows by the end of this run, anything else? So what is it that worth it to you, to be vindicated on the use for ChainLink? I don't understand, when the
A lot
market
of
could just outperform it.
Linkies will say, they're unironically in it for the tech and how Link can change the world. And I think
Why?
a lot of you guys need to like look in the mirror and be honest with yourself.
I also think it's funny
you're
where
you're in this for the money, guys. Just stop lying to yourself. You're in this for the money. That's fine. I'm in this for the money. Okay? And if you're in this for the money, you need to optimize your choices for things that make you the most money in the last fucking cycle ever. Don't waste it on like a fucking boomer laggard coin like Link, So
I
that's
mean,
yeah.
when the market pumps hard, Link pumps a little bit, and then the market dumps. I mean, that's just the tale as old as time. It's like this. It's like a recyclable token. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And when the market dumps, Chainlink dumps big. Like, it goes big, man. So why expose yourself to that? Why expose yourself to that when you could just join in with the market? It doesn't make any sense. And this whole Link moves against the market narrative, that hasn't happened since what? It's run up to, what was that run up to? Maybe it was up to $20 when it was defying the market the first time. I forget what it was, but
It was the $20, yeah.
yeah, that hasn't happened in a very long time. It's been 3 years, 4 years. It's been a long time. So
Also, something that was really interesting, I noticed is that, you know, on the initial run for $20, Link was leading the market. But if you notice, after that initial run, the meme of like Link pumping whenever the market is about to dump, that started. So Link went from being proactive to being reactive, and
oh
in a
yeah,
crypto market, that's really fucking bad. Like you want your
oh
coin to
yeah.
be leading the market. You don't want it to be like just at the whim of whatever Bitcoin and Ethereum does. Okay,
Yeah, and that's
so
why Lido is a game changer.
yeah,
Because
because you're
it's
riding on the
been
coattails of
fighting over.
Ethereum.
Yeah, and just one final thing to put in there. It is funny how I don't even know if I'm wording this correctly. Is that they say that Chainlink is going to be this settlement mechanism that changes the world. But then they say like, oh, and Charles Hoskins mentioned it, and it's just like, I don't understand why like this isn't even the point of crypto, is to have this, you know, joining arm in arm with these large institutions and the IMF. It's just like, I don't understand how this is for the better and in what way it's even making us more money. Like, I'm not sure what they're even after to be proven right on anymore. Like, where does it end where there's satisfaction in what ChainLink is even doing and who they're working with? It's certainly not helping the everyday person and giving them financial power, which was the whole point of cryptocurrency in the first place.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever. Maybe I lost the plot. Maybe I'm delusional,
You
right?
know,
But
one last thing for me though, it's like I saw the funniest fucking exchange on Twitter. I can't find the tweet right now, but the exchange pretty much went. So there was this guy, and he was hitting on Link. He's like, "Dude, this coin's a fucking piece of shit. It's not acting the way it's supposed to. It always lags behind the market." And then he said, "Dude, Solana's like so much better, you know, all that stuff." And then this Link Maxi came in his comments. He's like, "Oh, really? Well, if you're such a fortune teller, why don't you show us your profits from your Solana long since you saw the future?" And then the guy like posted his screenshot P&L showing his profits from Solana.
yeah, please don't get into a price action fight if you're a Link holder, please. I'm just saving you the embarrassment.
but
So.
that's the thing. It's like they're so fundamentalized, like institutionalized into this narrative about fundamentals that they seem to forget that you can kind of see price action. Like, I'm not sure about you, but I could see the fucking injective pump and the Solana pump before it was going to happen. If you like, I'm sure everyone in their fucking mom could see that Solana was going to pump. It's really, really fucking obvious, right? And
Mm.
you know, I think some of them are just foregoing the chart in because they're so focused on lazy CIP and all that shit, you know?
Yeah, and that stuff, as compared to, as I tell a lot of people, you know, it's more about price action and wallet movement than anything, and kind of where the market is swaying than what your coin actually does. It's probably the least important thing. It really is a lot of the time. So yeah, I'll just one last time. There are much better tokens to put your money into than Chainlink for this run. There just are. It's just factual at this point. So I would let it go. I really would.
But yeah, enough about Link. Well, we've given them enough of a hard time. I want to finish this off by looking at something that you brought up a while back, which is the metaverse stuff. And you know, I do think the metaverse slash gaming has a place in this cycle. And my bet on that was PYR, which is actually a coin that I was in last cycle, and it's done really well for itself recently. So it has been in this massive accumulation range here, and it broke out at around $5. And I think it can go back to all time highs, which is at
That
$40.
would be nice.
It'd be nice, yeah. Um, but yeah, it's at $7. If it closes above, let's say, um, if it gets back above 8 ish, 850 ish, I think we can get down to 10.6. You know, at the very least, and if it breaks into that range, I don't see why it can't go to 13 or even 16. You know, and last time I called this coin, it was at like $5. So it's pumped like about 50% since the last video as well.
This, I tried looking into this one. Not that it matters what it actually does, but is it like a platform for development in the metaverse space? Do you
So
know?
they are a metaverse gaming studio. They make games
Mm, okay.
for the blockchain.
On the blockchain. It's a Dentacoin, dentistry on the blockchain. So,
But I think that
oh my
that has a
goodness.
place in it because you know, do you remember Axie Infinity from last
Of
cycle?
course. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
that the crazy thing is that really kind of paved the way for showing that there is actually a market for gaming on the blockchain. I think at the peak of it, this is purely anecdotal, but I heard at the peak of Axie Infinity, there were like 300,000 people in the Philippines just playing this mobile app to earn like tokens to like sell
Oh,
on
I remember you
Binance
talking
from.
about that
Yeah,
before. Yeah,
just like
many
all these
episodes ago.
Filipinos just playing this shitty mobile game just to
Well,
earn money from that, and
not only
that's a
Axie,
good use case. Yeah,
but not only that, but I saw there's so few times since I've gotten into crypto where I've seen something and thought that is actually really cool, somewhat useful, and maybe entertaining. And that was when things like Axie Infinity and what DeFi Kingdom were out. I thought it had to do, it was a good it was kind of marrying the gap between token action and NFTs and putting them into games. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I, I think it kind of died out when the market did, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a place for them in the upcoming market. So yeah,
I think
I'm
gaming
looking
is going to
forward
be
to it.
huge this cycle. Um,
Yeah.
Purely because if you think like how easy it is to implement in current systems, like if CS:GO or another shooter wanted to implement uh, like a collectible system, but it was powered by some token technology that made each collectible skin unique. That's sort of easy to implement versus like a worldwide fucking payment system, you know?
Well, you just reminded me of it while you were saying that, but I have I have a friend. She was very distraught that after 9 years, the Kim Kardashian mobile game, which is kind of like Kim Kardashian The Sims, was shutting down. And I didn't know that there were tons of people playing this game for years, and obviously it involves getting clothes, getting a house. Imagine like people who are into getting a penthouse in GTA, except in the
Yeah.
Kardashian game. So there are these little phone games with items and real estate, we'll say, that are just begging for crypto implementation because they have wide use outside of, I don't even want to call it the gaming sphere. This is just the people sphere. If crypto can find a way to wedge itself into that, yeah, you'd certainly have something. And maybe something like that could come from a development platform like PYR. So yeah, that might be something to think about.
But yeah. Um, any closing thoughts on the market?
No, I think that I don't even know how broadly I want to speak, but there's going to have to be a pullback midway through this year. I think not midway through this year, sorry, midway through this quarter. I think kind of what you said earlier, we got some more climb left in us, but there's been a lot of, say, positive affirmation over the last month or two that needs to be dealt with. But I think it was good that we said something before the ETF announcement or
Yep. Yep.
non-announcement coming up. So how the market reacts to that, we'll kind of do a post-mortem, and I think that'll be interesting to talk about.
I want to bring something up really quick before I give my closing thoughts. Guys, if you remember, and I saw this really great tweet, explain it recently, but where we are in the market right now, I think it's sort of similar to um, the Q1 2021 for Bitcoin. So, do you remember in 2021 where Bitcoin broke all time high and then it pumped up to 40K and then it started dumping? Remember that?
Yes.
So that's where we are right now. I think we're somewhere here, and we have a little bit more to go. But then once it tops out, sometime in Q1 this year, we are gonna do our first major correction for the market. Probably like a 20 to 30% correction, because that's usually like how deep it goes. And my call for that for Bitcoin is around mid 30K around there. Um, it is going to be the first major correction. So, I'm going to try to de-risk some alts at the top when I see Bitcoin start crabbing and ETH pumping the fuck off. I'm going to de-risk some and then try and buy some at the bottom or towards the bottom of this correction here, and then try and set myself up for the final leg of this cycle. And yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep, yep. And closing thoughts, guys. I don't think controversial opinion, but I don't think Bitcoin reaches 100K this cycle.
Jeez.
So,
Okay.
so my thesis for this, right? And I could be way off base, but when you when you become a larger coin, especially something like Bitcoin, um, imagine how large of a market cap it's going to be when it's at like 80K or 90K. It's going to be like in the trillions, and to exit the position um, in that size, with size, you need a lot of liquidity. Um, and I feel like the only way that they could generate that sort of liquidity is if they pump it to 90K ish, paint the chart so like everyone and their mom thinks it's going to get to 100K and beyond, and then make it make it the absolute top. Okay, so
Mm.
so they paint the chart so like it looks like it's going to go to 100K and beyond. Everyone and their mom gets long. Okay, and then that generates enough liquidity for them to exit their positions and create the top for the market. I feel like that's what's going to happen. You know?
I can only imagine what the narratives are going to be when Bitcoin is at 80 to 90,000 and what like the mania going on in real life over it is going to look like.
Yeah.
And
Can you
I think
imagine like
this
what? Can you imagine like some normie saying, "Dude, it's at 80K, 100K is like guaranteed." Like that's
yeah.
going to be such a popular narrative, right?
And I thought that I didn't think that was guaranteed last cycle, but it was certainly in the conversation because you can see that I won't even call it a double peak, but you can see how what we got up to like 64 and then it only stretched just a bit higher above that
Mm.
afterwards. So I think the it will not be ready for the type of volume that's needed to pump it up to 100K in this cycle. It just won't be. But again, I
Also, that
mean,
second peak was manufactured by FTX, apparently.
that I can believe. But I think, and this is what you said that got me kind of back into crypto in general was, and there's a third part too. And I don't know if I can remember one of the things, but one of them was that it's a halvening this year, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I don't know enough about the technicalities of that, but I do know that the years where it has happened, Bitcoin's had good performance. There's also the ETF, which I think is just going to be an early year conversation that's going to be quite interesting for price action. But also the third thing that I never realized is that it's going to be an election season in America. And
Ah.
whether you like it or not, that is going to have a reverberating effect on the markets in general and crypto as well. Some people think that the powers that be are going to supercharge the economy so that Biden can get another 4 years. That just sounds outlandish to me, but it could be a narrative that's discussed and the market could react in that way. So it's worth telling that there are very unorthodox and erratic actions in the markets and life in general traditionally during election seasons. I mean, the last one was 2020. Need I remind everyone what was going on in the world in 2020?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not only that, but the United States was a hellhole in 2020. So yeah, I mean, so who knows what will happen in 2024? But that can make crypto all the more exciting. So
Yeah. Um, that's pretty much it, guys, for this episode. Remember, I just feel like make use of what time we have left. This has been fun, and I hope you guys
kiss your
just
loved ones.
kiss your loved ones and kiss your coins. Be ready to say goodbye to them at the end of 2024 and the start of 2025. It's our last
Amen.
cycle, and I hope I see all of you guys at the Citadel at the end
And
of the
you know what'll
cycle.
be great, Tyson? We'll be able to hold their hands the whole time. They won't even have to worry about anything. They can hold your hand the whole time, and you'll tell them when to get in and when to get out, right? Because you are the oracle.
Uh, well, I fucked up last cycle, so let's but that was because of overtrading. So I'm a chill on overtrading this cycle. But yeah, fingers crossed. You
Okay.
know.
Well, take it from me. You can trust them, folks.
But yep. Until next time, we are the contrarians of the cosmos. Thanks, guys.